You're about to see a photograph you've never seen before. It's a simple photograph, a girl with a camera. But the girl is Norma Jean Doherty. And it was a camera that transformed her into Marilyn Monroe. These are some of the 53 recently uncovered images of a 19-year-old Marilyn Monroe. These are her very first professional photographs. These are the photographs that led her down the yellow brick road into the gates of the Hollywood studios. Most of these remarkable shots have never been seen or published before. They were lost for over 40 years, until they were purchased at auction by a consortium of 4 Canadian investors headed by this man, 37-year-old Greg Cheadle.
Well, the newspapers are reporting that this could generate $100 million for us. Our hope is that we may realize a gross revenue return, and I want to emphasize a gross revenue return of a little under $10 million.
And now, these 45-year-old negatives are being carefully restored and enhanced. And they're flying off the wall at the finest contemporary art galleries in the world. One can be yours for a mere $2,500.
We have had more calls on this show than probably any telephone inquiries in the last 10 years of doing business on Worth Avenue.
The photographer captured a sweetly innocent teenager, an unlikely candidate for the role of the most famous sex goddess of our century. But first, let's take a step back. Back to June 26, 1945. The world was at war. The Hollywood canteen was dispensing coffee and donuts, and dances with Dietrich de Havilland and Deanna Durbin. The king, Clark Gable, just returned from missions over Germany, and Betty Grable was the pin-up queen from the Fox studios to the foxholes on the war front. Her husband, Harry James, was more popular than ration stamps. The studios were churning out wartime training films, light comedies, and patriotic musicals.
We're going on tour. What do you know, Boston, Philadelphia, Washington? Washington? Hey, wouldn't it be something if the president came to see us, the chief himself?
Yeah, wouldn't it be something if we could get this makeup off our kisses before the war's over?
On the morning of June 26, 1945, an Army photographer, Private David Conover, reported as usual to the 1st Motion Picture Unit near Hollywood. But a phone call from his commanding officer was about to set him on a collision course with a 19-year-old factory worker. That seemingly routine phone call would set into motion a series of events that would change his life forever. He was about to discover Marilyn Monroe. Private Conover was assigned to drive out to the radio plane factory, a defense plant in nearby Van Nuys. A routine assignment to photograph some morale-boosting pin-ups of pretty factory workers doing their bit to help the war effort. Conover and his camera caused quite a buzz at the radio plane that day. Most of the ladies on the line lived in the fringes of Hollywood and dreamed about being the next Betty Grable. His Graflex was the glass slipper, and every Rosie the Riveter hoped it would fit. But once in a decade, or a generation, or a lifetime, or maybe only in a Cinderella story, it all fits. It all comes together. One magic moment. The camera and an image. This is the very first professional photo ever taken of Marilyn Monroe. June 26, 1945. It all happened in a flash, with the whir of a shutter. In 1/1000th of a second, Norma Jean Doherty would become the most photographed image in the world.
Stop for a second.
Mr. Grannon, I want you to help me.
I have a little sand left. What seems to be the trouble?
Some men are following me.
Really? I can't understand why.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
I can now retire from politics after having had Happy Birthday sung to me. Such a sweet...
The highlight of my life wonderful singing for the soldiers. I stood out on an open stage and it was cold, but I swear I didn't feel a thing except good.
Marilyn, where are you going from here?
Marilyn Monroe would become the last great queen of the silver screen. She would become a fantasy sex goddess to all men in all parts of the world. She would be courted by presidents, hold court with the queen. She'd ride the merry-go-round, but never quite grasp the gold ring. She'd marry the Yankee clipper, Joe DiMaggio, and the Pulitzer Prize-winning playwright, Arthur Miller. But on this day, in the summer of 1945, she had already been married for 3 years to the boy next door, Jim Doherty.
Norma Jean and I were married in June 1942. She had just turned 16 June 1st, and I had just turned 21 April 12th. When I shipped out, Norma Jean moved in with my mother.
When Jimmy had to go overseas with the Merchant Marine, she both lived with her and worked with her. They both worked at radio planes. I don't recall exactly. I would have to check her employment record. They did have a competition for Queen of Radio Planes. The winner would be one of the prettiest girls who had sold the most war bonds.
Eleanor Goddard is Marilyn Monroe's foster sister. The letters, photographs, and mementos you will see were the personal possessions of Norma Jean Doherty and are now in the hands of Eleanor Goddard. Norma Jean liked to call her BB, and we will too.
After they finished with some of the pictures, an Army company private by the name of David Conover told me he would be very interested in getting some color still shots of me. He told me what to wear and what shade of lipstick, etc. So the next couple of weeks, I posed for him at different times. He is now with First Motion Picture Unit. Also, he said that I should by all means go into the modeling profession. He also said that I photograph very well and that he wants to take a lot more. Also, he said that he had a lot of contacts in which he wanted me to look into. He is awfully nice and is married and is strictly underlined business, which is the way I like it. Jimmy seems to like the idea of modeling, so I'm glad about that. I shall be so happy to see you again, dear, and to see Daddy and Dee because I love you all so much. I'll write again tomorrow. With love, Norma Jean.
In the red clinging sweater, Conover was convinced that Norma Jean should be a model, not a factory worker, and she agreed. He was granted a 2-week furlough from the captain of the First Motion Picture Unit. Norma Jean requested a 2-week leave from the radio plane factory. He believed he was going to teach Norma Jean how to model. He was about to launch a legend. Coming up, we'll recreate the Norma Jean David Conover sessions, reunite Jim Doherty, Jane Russell, and Robert Mitchum, chat with Sister Bibi, meet author Bob Slater, and the new owner of the $1 million portfolio that led to the discovery of Marilyn Monroe.